Okay, we're back. One last fucking stab at this shit, and I don't know whether it'll get done or not, but I'll give it a shot. Ugh, God. Oh, it's not an auspicious start. Coughing up phlegm. Oh, fuck. All right. What we never learned from Gamergate. It's very easy to roll your eyes and say that everything I have written here is overblown. You're right. It is because it is. It's not just overblown. It's some of it's overblown, and most of it is outright fucking lies. These are simply movies. Yes, they are. You pay your money, you have your opinion, and you go home. Rinse and repeat. Yep, pretty much. But the reality is that we live in a world where a few very intelligent people are counting on you to think that way. Okay, here we go with the master plan again. And they will use that complacency to build the world that they want. This is what Steve Bannon knew in 2014, and 7 years later, we are still being blindsided by that same strategy. Um, if he was that fucking smart and planned shit like this out, then I think, among other things, Trump would still be the president. I wish that Steve Bannon had some master plan that was still working. I'm afraid it's not so. This was never about Star Wars, just as 7 years ago it was never about video games. Well, no, it's about the left being a bunch of assholes who just won't leave other people alone. You know? You complain and complain and complain about harassment, but you're the ones who won't leave us alone. This plan of action will continue to move from one space to the next, hiding tactfully behind the illusion that these are just discontent fans voicing an opinion. I almost wish that were true. And in each space, more and more people, pardon me, will be radicalized by the real existential threat that we're facing. Sadly, no, they won't. Technology is moving ahead of us at a pace our evolution is not equipped to handle. That's true, actually. This means that those who can figure out how to exploit our inability to keep up with those advances will hold power that they never would have held otherwise. Well, this is combined with a long, grueling history of hate, racism, sexism, and bigotry that we consistently fail to acknowledge and learn from as a society. Has there been those things in the past, and are those things still with us? Yes, and they always will be. But it's also not nearly as bad as you make it out to be. You know, it's just not. These two factors alone create a perfect environment where a minority of people can threaten the entire foundation of civilization. Well, don't worry about that. Western civilization is about to fall, and that's because of your side. And the majority doesn't pay enough attention or doesn't care enough to notice. After a very near decline of democratic power in the most influential nation on earth, that sentence shouldn't sound extreme. Of course, you're talking about Trump as though, Orange Man bad, he was some sort of dictator. That was absolutely not true. He played very much by the book, which is part of the reason why he lost to people that chose not to obey the rules. I wish the right was as impressive a boogeyman as leftists like this make out. We would not be facing the imminent demise of our country if that were the case. But sadly, it's not how it is. The danger presented here is what the culture war embodies. It is a swift and effective pipeline to hate, no. Extremism, no. That creates a larger resistance against progressive political change. Well, we should resist progressivism because it's bullshit. If enough resistance is built up within society against progressive change, again, you're talking about progressivism, and it's a bullshit ideology, and it's not anything new, by the way. It's it's very old. Then that change will be blocked from happening. Good. If the rights and representation of underrepresented groups are kept from culture, that's not really happening. I mean, who doesn't actually have rights? I mean, that's just not an issue. You keep on pretending that it is, but it's not. And underrepresentation is like, I mean, is there precise representation? No, but there's some places, some groups are going to be underrepresented, but that's largely because of choices made by the members of those groups. And where you've had interference, you often have minority groups or not necessarily minority, but it's like women in certain places are vastly overrepresented at this point. It's like, I mean, is that truly fair? I mean, what do you want? It's like like blacks, for instance, or whatever percentage of the population. What is it, 15%, something like that? It's like, do you want them to be 15% of all jobs? Or are you going to be like, well, they need to be 50% of this type of job and 0% of that type of job because that job is undesirable. It's unbecoming of people who've been historically repressed or whatever, and therefore only white people should be forced to do that kind of job. I don't, they don't, they say they want one thing, but they really don't. They really don't. They just want preferential treatment for, well, for themselves, really. As they sure as shit don't. It's like if the black person or the woman or the Asian or the gay person or whoever happens to be conservative, then fuck them. It's like, that's the attitude of the left. It's like, oh, we love all these different people except when they don't agree with us, and then fuck them. Blah 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 blah. So it follows that they will be kept from politics. No. That's not happening. And in the end, this is the goal. No, your goal is Marxism. But anyway, I want to conclude this article with a quote from Deadspin, written in October. Oh, pardon me. 2014. That was included in an article titled "The Future of the Culture Wars is Here, and it's Gamergate." Kyle Wagner writes, "What's made Gamergate effective is that it's exploited the same basic loophole in the system that generations of social reactionaries, again with that, have: the press's genuine and deep-seated belief that you got to hear both sides." What the fuck are you talking about? The press is not even-handed, and they haven't been for fucking ever. Pardon me. Even when not presupposing that all truth lies at a fixed point exactly equidistant between two competing positions. Well, sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. As a Vorlon once said, understanding is a three-edged sword. There's your side, their side, and the truth. Of course, when you're on the side of the truth, then you're already there. Anyway, the American press works under the assumption that anyone more respectable than, say, an avowed neo-Nazi is operating in something like good faith. Oh, pardon me. Well, commies are never operating in good faith. And this is why a loosely organized, lightly noticed collection of gamers operating from a playbook that was showing its age during Ronald Reagan's rise to power have been able to set the terms of debate in a $100 billion industry, even as they send women like Brianna Wu into hiding and show every sign that they intend to keep doing so until all their demands are met. Well, if they're getting the better of you leftist dickbags, good for them. In the time since this article was written, this event has not only replicated itself across every part of pop culture, but it has been used to help elect a dangerous bigot, that's a lie, and bring a country to the brink of civil war. That's also a lie, not quite that, that we're at the brink of civil war. That's probably inevitable at this point, essentially, or at least the breakup of the Union is inevitable. How bloody it gets, I don't know. I hope not very bloody, but I guess it depends. I mean, if the Democrats are in charge when the breakup starts and they decide to, be like Lincoln and be like, no, we're not going to let you leave peacefully. We're even though we don't have the the righteousness of ending slavery as something to try to rally support for our side, we're still going to hold the Union together through military force. Then it'll be war. And that will be very, very, very bloody. There will be millions of casualties. If we choose, once again, not to pay attention, in 7 years, where will we be? Well, in 7 years, the United States will no longer be what it is. It will have, before 7 years is over, it will have started to break apart. Like I said, I hope that that's peaceful, but it really probably depends on whether the Democrats are willing to allow the Union to break apart as it needs to, or if they're going to insist on a war to try to stop it. I suppose it also depends on how much the military is willing to back them on that. After all, a lot of the soldiers are from red states, and indeed red families. I don't know. Anyway, never doubt that it was the left that brought us to this point. Please consider donating to the Southern Poverty Law Center. Do not. Everybody, anybody listening to me, never, ever donate a single solitary cent to the Southern Poverty Law Center. They are useless pieces of fucking shit. They are a leftist hate group that falsely labels everyone who disagrees with the leftist narrative as a right-wing hate group. They're horrible, horrible people, and they need their organization needs to be shut down. And hopefully, at some point in the in the relatively near future, it will be. Whose work battling racist alt-right extremism and hate in the United States is essential to the fight for human rights and progressive change. All lies. All lies. No, the SPLC needs to be done away with. It needs to end. They keep on branding law-abiding citizens who, in many cases, they're simply patriots who support the Constitution. They keep branding them hate groups. And that just allows the media and people like the author of this article to then say, oh, this person is a designated hate group. This person is a member of a designated hate group. Yes. Designated a hate group by the SPLC. Fuck the SPLC. Fuck them with a rusty chainsaw. Edit. This article has been updated with a link of @Vito whatever the fuck's tweet, which was mistakenly reported as deleted. Update. This article has been updated with comments from Ethan Van Sciver on March 17th livestream, seemingly insight. Well, I guess it's a good thing that it took me a while to get around to reading this fucking thing. Violence against Chinese people. Again, that's a inciting race. That's a lie. That's a fucking lie. It has also been updated to include information that the live stream video had been taken down by YouTube due to hate speech. Yes, and it shouldn't have been. That's bullshit. Additionally, the description of Van Sciver. Do you not understand how to appropriately, fuck you. 1 hour, Rose Deco Unboxing has also been updated to clarify that the video is edited to appear 1 hour long. Timeline of outrage graphic has been updated to include hashtag your slip is showing. About the author. Rewriting Ripley is a bi-weekly podcast on feminism and fandom in the age of social media, hosted by Katie and Lady V. Okay, so both women apparently. Well, I wasn't sure, but I guess I should have guessed since it said on feminism. Methodology, Twitter analysis. All Twitter data was collected using a Python script from GitHub that leveraged Twitter's API. This article leverages 3 data sets. Shouldn't that be an historical? An historical. I don't know. I've heard people say that it's supposed to be ahistorical, but isn't ahistorical kind of like atheist? It's against history. Ahistorical means it's not historical. Anyway, so it really probably should be an historical, but I'm not sure about that. Anyway, sample of tweets mentioning The Last Jedi or The Last Jedi between 12/15/17 to 11/30/2018. Blah 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 blah. I'm not reading all this shit. An historical sample of tweets. Last Jedi awful, and historical sample of tweets mentioning boycott Solo. Blah 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 blah. Data does not include tweets from locked accounts or tweets that have been deleted or suspended at the time of the data pull. Yeah, so it's incomplete due to rate limits, limitations with historical API, and loss of data from deleted or suspended accounts. The population of tweets for Last Jedi Awful and Boycott Solo is likely higher than the current population. However, given the concentration of accounts and tweeting the hashtag, amount of times accounts have retweeted the hashtag, I'm confident in concluding the hashtags came from a small but dedicated community. Word cloud and sentiment analysis, blah 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 blah, blah 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 blah, and blah 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 blah. If you want to read that, you can. I mean, I just Rogue One is better than The Last Jedi. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Rogue One is one of the few things that Disney's done that's actually kind of good. It's still not really good, but it's kind of good. Final word list. Use Tableau following calculations. The list can be found here, and obviously you can see the the address of this fucking article. So if you want to go look at it and explore all the links, you can search. I mean, you don't have to type the whole fucking thing in. I mean, I could link it in the description, but I don't want to. But you can, search for it. I would say Google it, but I don't use Google. I use DuckDuckGo or something else. Positive classification, negative classification, unknown, full, blah, 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 blah. Political affiliation. All affiliations were determined by basic information given by user in their Twitter bio on their YouTube channel via Google search of the user. The following criteria used to classify now this is something that's perhaps slightly interesting. Bullshit, I'm sure. The following criteria is used to classify an account as alt-right/radical right. 1. The majority of the account must have been dedicated to pushing right-wing political ideology. So just any right-wing political, ideology that included characteristics of alt-right or radical right-wing space. Who determines that? Who determines what that is? Did you just pull it out of your ass? Or are you using what the SPLC? Wouldn't trust them any further than I could throw their entire facility. Or radical right-wing spaces, including anti-feminist rhetoric, targeting of female creators. You mean criticizing people who happen to be female for their bad takes. Targeting of people of color or use of anti-white. Oh, so pointing out people, people being racist against white people, that's alt-right. Language, conspiracy theories. Again, who defines what a conspiracy theory is? And or excessive use of Gamergate era terminology such as SJW. Oh, so anybody who uses a term that has long since passed into common vernacular, they're all alt-right. Fuck you, you lying sacks of shit. And 2, must be embedded in an alt-right/radical right network. Well, none of them were, so you're lying your ass off about that. Or 3, must identify primarily as a radical right-wing account, be a known right-wing personality, Ben Shapiro, or identify as a member of the Fandom Menace. Again, the Fandom Menace has a lot of leftists in it, so they're definitely not alt-right, so trying to describe them as that based on that affiliation is ridiculous. Again, Ben Shapiro, not alt-right, especially since you yourself said alt-right people are anti-Semitic. Ben Shapiro is a Jew. So is Dave Rubin. And you barely mentioned him. You didn't really mention him by name. You just kind of snuck him in there with a link to something. But Dennis Prager, also Jewish. Embedded is defined as having multiple connection to verified. Again, verified. Verified by whom? How? In what way? What the fuck are you on about? Like Jack Posobiec, he's not alt-right. Ethan Van Sciver, he's not alt-right. Mike Cernovich, he's not alt-right. Charlie Kirk, he's not alt-right. Charlie Kirk is totally an establishment shill. Accounts who were in network with verified, again, bullshit, not automatically considered alt-right simply by association. Account must have been active in network, pushing similar ideology. Basically your definition of who is alt-right is total horseshit. Complete and utter horseshit. And all of these people, especially the bigger names, the people like Ethan Van Sciver or whoever, people who if they have money or if they are lawyers like Mike Cernovich, every single one of these people who does not consider themselves to be alt-right should sue these two bitches out of existence. They should sue them into the poorhouse, if they're not already there, for this fucking hit piece. For lying about them and saying that they're alt-right. I doubt any of them will, but they should. They should sue your asses off. All affiliations for Twitter and YouTube samples can be found here. YouTube analysis, blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Positive, negative, blah 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 blah. Okay, we've reached the end. Thank God. Thank you, Lord. Thank you so much. These people suck. They suck so bad. Oh my God. It's about to end, so I'll go ahead and plug him again. Back Deus Volt live on Indiegogo. It's probably going in demand, but just in case, go ahead and back it now. God wills it. Yes, back it today. God wills it. uh, uh, all right. Well, we are done. That's nice. I like. That's a nice piece. All right. Well, anyway, like I said, that was the horrible hit piece against everybody, and uh, it, I think what we've learned is, well, again, TLD. Well, it's not TLDR. TLDR for this, and for me, I get for my videos about it, I guess it's the TL um, DW. Uh, and that is it it's all horseshit. It's all fucking horseshit. It's lie after lie after lie after lie after lie. It's incredible how many fucking lies there are in this thing. But this is what the left does. They lie. They lie continually, unendingly, and again, I mean, it's always possible that some of it is just them being stupid and not knowing what they're talking about. But I personally believe that this is, after having read the whole thing, I believe this is malicious lies about everybody. You can't have actually looked into this in any respect, especially leftists like MacRandom42 or Clownfish TV. Both those channels are run by leftists, and you're claiming that they're alt right. You can't possibly think that if you actually did any research whatsoever. So the fact that you said it over and over again, either you did no research, but you clearly did quite a bit, showing your methodology and whatnot. Apparently you fucking did quite a bit of research. So either you just skipped over some things, or more likely, you just are lying. You are lying pieces of shit. All right. And like I said, I really do believe that I've heard of Writing Ripley like years ago. Maybe it was a different group, but I could have sworn it was the same fucking logo. I don't know. Everybody, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Never trust leftists. Coming from a former leftist, trust me, never trust a leftist. Never trust a current leftist. Former ones, perhaps, but not a current one. Not a current one. All right, until the next one, whatever the hell that happens to be, I'll have to take a very long break from trying to do any more videos after this crap. Holy shit! Oh my god, it's just. All right, later.